it to through another week and to another Saturday. So welcome. We're going to get started because we respect ourselves and our time. So we start on time. All right. So since it's morning for all of us, whether it's earlier on the West Coast and a little later on the East Coast, it's still morning where most people are breaking their fast or thinking about doing it, having a little breakfast. So I'll start off with this one, a little food one. What was the first food truck? The first food truck in this country, not necessarily, I mean, if you can say who did it or what food it was or whatever it was, but who knows or who thinks they know what the first food truck was, what they were selling or who was selling it or anything like that? Who knows anything about what they think the first food truck was?
Maybe hot dogs.
Hot dogs, okay.
I'm guessing tacos, but that's because I'm in California.
Okay. Anyone else? Hot dogs, tacos. What else? All right. Well, the answer to that, an ice cream truck.
Oh, hello.
It was actually an ice cream truck. And this was in the early 1900s, and it was created by the guy who created the Good Humor Bar. And that's a older ice cream company, but he created the first ice cream trucks to get ice cream going throughout the city, and not just ice cream parlors. Ice cream was a kind of an ugly, unsanitary, dirty business at the beginning, because when they first started ice cream, they did not use sticks. So basically, they just used their hands and ate it, ice cream. So the people who invented the popsicle, people who invented the guy who invented the Good Humor Bar, those are the first people to put sticks in their thing, so that it was actually a manageable treat. Most people you had to eat it with your hands, and it was just like put on a little plate or something like that, and you just had to pick it up and eat it. Which, does anybody know what a penny liquor is? Anybody ever heard of a penny liquor?
Well,
No?
Sparkle Bailey said
Okay.
no.
So
Monique is laughing.
So-
Alberta said no.
Right?
Emily said
Okay.
no.
So when they were selling ice cream early as well, when you see people now going down the street pushing the little white carts with little frozen popsicles in there, or whatever else you'll see them at a park or in the summer or whatever else it was. Well, back in the day, they had what they call penny liquors. So what happens is you would go to that cart, a person would have a glass, and they would put ice cream in there for a penny, and you would lick the ice cream out and give them back the jar. Give them back the little glass. Yeah, it wasn't sanitary at all. This is early 1900s. People and sanitation was yeah. You had a couple buildings now and some lights, but sanitation wasn't that much, hadn't developed that much further at that point yet. But people would walk up to the cart, they'd put ice cream like in a little jar, a little glass. You'd lick it and give it back.
Angie says, "Wow, as a nurse, I can't imagine."
Yeah. That's exactly what it was back in the day, right? That's what people were doing. So that's what a penny liquor was. It was somebody basically, or it was basically an action or an activity of buying a scoop of ice cream, so to speak, out of a cart, and they handed it to you in a glass. You licked it out and gave them back the glass and kept it moving. That's what it was. So the first food truck was an ice cream truck, and it was 12 Model T Fords that the guy basically outfitted to put ice cream so that they could get it out in the community and not have people just have to come to ice cream parlors, right? So that's basically how they started ice cream trucks, getting them out to sell them and things like that. It didn't go too well at the beginning because people were really people started becoming more afraid of, or more aware of hygiene. Let maybe say it that way. People started becoming more aware of hygiene. So it was a hard sell because they didn't have all of the they just didn't have all the sanitation equipment and all that stuff to make it work well, but it still sold decently, but it didn't really last because till people got more aware of how to do hygiene, it kind of faltered. But first ice cream truck was a food truck. First ice cream truck was a food truck. All right. Does anyone know, does anyone know what the first, does anybody know when the first erasers, like the eraser on your pencil, anybody knows, does anybody know when those came into existence?
I'm gonna guess in the 30s. I'm just throwing a number out there.
Okay. Anyone else? First erasers.
They said nope.
No, no. Okay. First erasers came out in the 17th century.
Oh, Z.
17th century,
Oh,
right? But those came out well after the pencil. They didn't come together at the same time. The eraser came second. So the eraser and pencil did not come together. So for about 75 years, the pencil was out ahead of the eraser. So what did people use to erase pencil? What do you think people use to erase pencil?
Monique said wet finger.
Wet finger, okay. Okay. What else we think?
Rocks and stones, Sparkle Bailey guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A piece of cloth, I don't know.
Bread.
Oh,
So what people would do is they would get some bread and they would dip a little bit of it in water so that it became almost doughy. You could almost like roll it up almost like Play-Doh. You could roll it and they would erase it with that.
oh wow.
That was bread was the first eraser. And
Take a little
it
bit.
actually worked pretty well.
Wow.
It actually worked pretty well. It was not far off from the eraser. Like it actually worked pretty well. People used it for about 70 years or so before the eraser came, because the pencil came earlier, like I said, about 75 years before the eraser. So people would just take a little small piece of bread, dab it in some water, kind of roll it up, and that's your first eraser. People are using that for literally a quarter of a century
Wow.
before the eraser as we know it came.
And by the way, Angie Googled it and it was 1770.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody know what the first pencils, even the color of the first pencils were?
Like a charcoal?
Okay, that was one of
Was
them.
it green?
There was a couple different colors. There was purple, charcoal. I don't remember if there was green, but I know it's purple, charcoal.
Sparkle Bailey guessed red.
Right? No, it wasn't red. Purple, charcoal. Does anybody know what color are the pencils now usually? Like the old school pencils, the ones that we use.
That charcoal color?
No,
Are you talking about
the
the
color. The
They're
outside.
yellow now.
Yellow.
Yeah, yellow.
Yellow on the outside. Do you know why people did that?
So they can see it so they don't lose it. I don't know.
It was basically just marketing. It was actually yellow was seen more as a color of royalty.
Huh.
And so it was seen more like to have a yellow pencil just made you seem more regal. Right? It carried a sense of nobility and regality to it. So it was just basically a psychological thing, but that was the whole point of changing the color of the pencil. Right? So yeah, just something simple as
You were
that.
asking about the color, you were talking about like the.
Not the lead itself.
The
That
lead.
doesn't change. That doesn't really change yet. Right? But the color on the outside.
I said
right.
charcoal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But even the whole thing that was that color.
Okay.
Even the outside with the whole thing was that color. They painted it yellow after a couple different iterations because of it granting kind of the sense of nobility and regality and things like that. Okay.
Interesting.
Anybody know does anybody know what surge pricing is? Surge pricing. Especially since there's so many entrepreneurs on this call. What is surge pricing?
Prices, they shoot up for a short amount of time.
Based on
Different factors. I know with Uber, if it's a busy time of the day, they take advantage of that and they jump the price up. They double or triple the price when it's busy.
Yeah.
Right, so
Where
it's
does the demand-
yeah, that's what it is. It's the same thing every time, just in a different industry, whether it's rides or food or whatever else it is. It's supply and demand, right? And the more demand on something, then the higher the price can be, right? Right, or the less supply, the higher the price can be. Either one of those, right? So, does anybody know now that Wendy's is the first restaurant that's practicing surge pricing? Oh yeah, surge pricing. Wendy's is the first restaurant that's practicing surge pricing. So not everywhere, but in certain places, yeah. They're basically rolling it out like they roll out everything. Like gas is $2 and then there's a war or something and gas goes up to $5. Then everybody complains and we march and vote and strike and then it goes back down to $3.50 and everybody thinks they won, but you've just lost $1.50 because it was $2 a month ago. It's basically rolling something out in a way where it shocks you at first, but then you get used to it. Right? So if you have an empty Tuesday at Wendy's and nobody's there, the burger may be 99 cents, maybe $1. But if it's Friday afternoon and everybody's eating and whatever else it is, that same burger may be $3.
Wow.
Right? They're practicing surge pricing now. They're the first restaurant to actually start rolling that out. Right? Because they're basically, well, for whatever reasons, or for a lot of reasons, but that's what surge pricing is. Wendy's is the first restaurant to actually start implementing surge pricing. Right?
Is that recent?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. All right. Does anybody know where this word, pandemonium, does anybody know where that word came from or what that word originally meant and still means, right? Denotatively, connotatively, we know it means chaos and things, but what does the word originally mean? What does the word actually mean? Does anybody know what this word means or where it came from?
I just
Is
think
it Greek?
It is.
Coach Bailey said no. I mean, I'm sorry, Coach. I'm mixing names up now. Coach Monique said no.
It is Greek. It's two Greek words. Anybody know?
Mm-mm.
That was my only guess.
Okay. All right. So it's two Greek words, pan and diamond. Pan in Greek means all. Diamond means demon. Pandemonium, there was a poet named John Milton in 1607? Yeah, 1667, sorry. 1667, John Milton in 1667 created this word in a book called in a poem called Paradise Lost. And essentially it's talking about the fall of Satan from heaven. And so pandemonium is the capital city of hell. So when Satan fell from heaven and fell into hell, right? He basically, once he got down there, he gathered up everybody that came with him, right? And the capital city of hell was called Pandemonium. It's where all the demons gathered, right, to figure out how they were going to create chaos for humanity. That's why now it's connotatively seen as chaos or just craziness, anarchy, right? Everything like that, right? But that is actually this is the place where all the demons gathered after they were thrown out of heaven, gathered and figured out how they were going to make hell for humanity and chaos for humanity. This was the capital city of hell, Pandemonium, in his poem. That's where that word pandemonium came from. You had something you want to say?
Oh no, I was just saying in the chat, Sparkle Belly had said evil spirit demon. Natasha had said demon.
That's where the word pandemonium came from. That's what it means. That's what the creator of the word had it to mean. Okay. All right. Quote of the day. The mind doesn't care what you repeat. It just masters it. The mind does not care what you repeat. It just masters it. What you keep saying to yourself over and over and over in your mind finds a way to create a physical reflection of it. It masters it. It finds a way to make it what you call reality or real. The mind doesn't care what you repeat. It just masters it. So it doesn't care. You can literally tell it anything. It will master it. It will find a way to physically represent that. Right? Like a coin has two sides. Your idea is one side. The physical world is the other side. You need both for it to be a reality, for it to be what we call reality. Your idea is one side. The physical reflection of that is the other. So everything starts with the idea, and now it needs a physical counterpart. It needs the reflection of itself. It needs the other side of the coin. Your mind does not care what you repeat. It just masters it. Right? That's the quote of the day. Okay. One thing, everything. That's the title of today's class. One thing, everything. So let's ask a question. What if you learned how to do one thing, and once you succeeded at that one thing, it made you good at everything else? So imagine if you learned how to ride a bike, and because you could ride a bike really well, you learned how to ride it really well, and you were an expert at it, it made you automatically a great student, or automatically a great person, or automatically a great businessman or businesswoman. If you learn one thing and how it would just make you amazing at everything else, imagine if you could learn one thing like that and it influenced and affected everything else, whether it's riding a bike or learning how to read or learning how to write or learning how to count or spell. Imagine if you could learn one thing and it affected everything. Imagine how valuable that skill would be to learn. How much time would you put into that skill? Like, what would the value of that skill be? Every Saturday, we come here to learn that one skill. What we talk about here every Saturday is the one skill you need to have any life you want, a good one or a bad one. You can have a good life or a bad life, meaning a life you want or a life you don't. It is dependent upon one skill, one thing and one thing only. Because even all the other things you do, so to speak, are a reflection of this one skill. They could not or would not be done without it. Without it. So I'll back it up. So what do we think that skill is? Well, okay, forget the skill part of it. What do we think that is?
I'll say mastering self.
Okay. What is self?
The mind.
Okay. What is running the mind?
My consciousness.
So then, so when we say mastering self, we're really saying, what are you really saying then? If it's consciousness, then what are you really saying? If we are mastering
Would it
consciousness,
be
go ahead. Yes.
would it be like mastering your mindset or like mastering your Ooh. Hold on.
This is good. This is why we're here, what you're doing right now. Actually thinking. We don't do it as much as we think we do. We actually don't do it. So what you're doing is great.
Monique put thinking in the chat. And then Natasha said, I am.
Okay.
Sparkle Bailey put my life skill, live softly, practicing domestic skills while building wealth, mainly from home.
Who said that?
Sparkle Bailey.
Okay. So let's do some math. Let's do common denominator. So what does it take? What is the beginning? What is the beginning of everything? If we say I am, and what is the beginning of everything? What is the creator of everything? Okay. Who is doing that?
Sparkle Bailey said me, self, spirit.
Okay. And we call that what? That's true. But collect, what do we call that? So we're all on the same page. Consciousness. Consciousness. Without consciousness, we have what? What do you have without consciousness?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? Meaning, if you go to a graveyard, is it loud if there's no one living there?
No.
It's pretty quiet, right? So, and so the first thing is consciousness. Okay, now, consciousness allows you to do what?
Sparkle Bailey said anything?
Yeah, but what is anything? What actually is anything? When you say the word anything, what are you referring to?
Think.
Think. Without consciousness, you can't think. Nobody in that graveyard is thinking. Okay. From there, from afterthought, what does that allow you to do?
Sparkle Bailey said plan.
Okay.
I was gonna say.
Function.
Function. So plan, function, execute. It allows you to act.
Yeah.
Planning is acting. You're acting on a thought, right? Function, execute. So consciousness leads to thought. Thought leads to an act. An act leads to what?
Feelings?
No, your feelings come along are attached to your thoughts. That's what you're feeling. You're feeling your thought. When you're feeling bad, it's because you're thinking bad, meaning you're having a thought that you don't like. You may not be aware, conscious of that you're thinking that. It just may be something you're used to thinking, like, oh, it's Monday, right? And so you're like, oh, shh, right? It's just a habitual thought, but your feeling is attached to a thought, whether you're conscious of it or not, meaning some thoughts you're not conscious of because they're habitual, but it's still a thought. Just like you go 2 + 2 is 4. But if you ask, like I said, a 3-year-old, they're like 1, 2, where it's still the same process. We just do it so quickly, we don't realize we're doing it. So consciousness, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Alberta put manifestation.
Okay, what is a manifestation? What's another word for that? What's another word for manifestation? Right? Consciousness leads to thinking or thought. Thought leads to acting or action. The action leads to what? Outcome.
Oh.
It leads to outcome. A manifestation is an outcome. It's an outcome.
Right.
Okay. So when we say one thing for everything, you cannot have an outcome without what? Without consciousness. You can't have anything without consciousness. So everything starts from the beginning. You don't get to skip the steps. Everything starts from the beginning. So everything that you manifest or outcome or that you call reality, what we call reality is not reality. It is the outcome of reality. Reality is what? What is reality?
Thought.
Well, it can't be thought.
Reality is perception, right?
No, what creates reality? There's only one creator here on this gram, on this thing. What is that?
Mind, the consciousness.
Consciousness is the only creator. Everything else is an expression of it. Meaning consciousness can exist without thinking about something. I don't have to think about something. Like I don't have to think about a particular thing. But in order for me to think about anything, I have to have consciousness. I have to be conscious, right? I have to be conscious no matter what I'm thinking about. I can be conscious and have a thought and not act on the thought. If I don't act on the thought, I can't get an outcome. So all of these three, outcome, action, and thinking, rely first and foremost on consciousness. Consciousness does not rely on any of these other things to be consciousness. Consciousness is the one doing these things, but it is not reliant upon these things. All of these things are reliant upon consciousness. So what is consciousness? In this equation, consciousness is what?
God.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, it is. It's God. It's the creator. It is the highest authority. It's the thing that's in charge. It's the parent of the house. It's the law of the land. It is the thing that everything else has to submit to because it exists before it. And everything that submits to it has to because it created them or those things. Like your children submit to you because you created them, right? Your business submits to you because you created it. You own a business. You run a business. You are the thing that the business is alive because of. Right? You have something you want to say?
Oh, I was going to say what Sparkle Bailey put the source and George put awareness.
Yes, whatever you call it doesn't matter. All of those are true. Whatever, those are just names. They still mean the same thing if you're thinking properly. Doesn't matter what you call it. So yeah, I don't care what you call it. Source, Allah, Buddha, God, Jesus, call it whatever you want. Whatever you want. Infinite intelligence, people have 1,000 names for it. That doesn't matter. Because just like the sun has 1,000 different names for it, depending on language, culture, it still functions the same. So we're not using semantics, saying, oh, you can call it whatever you want because it's kind of a little different. No, it's not different. It's the same thing we're all talking about, but we just may call it something different. So I'm saying don't get caught up on the name thinking that you call it something different, so therefore it is different. It's not different. It is not different, but I'm saying don't get caught up in the name like you have to call it something that someone else calls it. You don't. Call it whatever you want to call it so that it means the same thing. It should mean the same thing to everyone. So whatever word that is for you, use that word. Right? We call it sun, soul. The super Native Americans back in the day called it Jesus, called it Jesus, Geezis, Geezus. There are people calling it all kind of things. And they literally meant the sun, S-U-N, not S-O-N. That's who they were worshiping, was the S-U-N, not the S-O-N. Right? They were calling it the same thing. So my point to you is it doesn't matter what you call it, it works the same. So if we go in this order, right, we have to understand how things are created. First thing that you need to be is conscious, meaning alive. Before anything else happens, you have to be that. Now, your life, your consciousness now allows you to think about it like this way. Your life is a glass of water, right? Just think about a glass of water. Think about all the liquids that we ingest. The base of all those liquids are what? The base of every liquid you ingest is what? Is water. It's water. That's the base. It's water. Take a look at your refrigerator when you get off this call and look at everything that you're getting ready to pour down your mouth, and there is water in it. And water is the greatest thing in it, if it's liquid. Water is the base. Everything else now is the thought. It's what you now are adding to the base. Tea, carbonation, syrup, flavoring, coloring. Those things come as a result of having water. You're coloring the water, you're flavoring the water. When you have a thought, you are flavoring or coloring your consciousness. You're saying, now I want my consciousness to taste like tea, to taste like fruit punch, to taste like soda, to taste like orange juice, to taste like whatever it is. But it can't taste like that without the base. Your consciousness is your base. It's what everything, that is your power. That's the only creator. Now it's about what is this creator creating? Your consciousness is God. It is your creator. It is the highest authority in your life. It is the governing body. It is the law. Now, what you call laws are essentially rules. It's now what the law is deciding to implement. Your consciousness is God. It is the creator. It is Allah. It is Jesus. It is whatever you want to call it. It is the thing that everything sits on, and without it, you have nothing. Dead people are dead because they're unconscious for too long. So therefore, they can't think anymore. They can't act anymore. They don't have any outcomes, prosperity or poverty. None of those things matter to it anymore. Outcomes do not exist to unconscious people. You're not aware of any outcomes when you're asleep. Nothing exists to you when you're unconscious. Your world only exists as a result of your consciousness, and your world only exists to the extent of your consciousness. Your world only exists to the extent of your consciousness. So by expanding your consciousness, you are actually expanding your world. When you expand your awareness, you're expanding your awareness of your world. So when people talk about self-improvement, which is not even possible, but it's a misnomer. What self-improvement really should be said as is an expansion of consciousness or an awareness. It's expanding what you're aware of. It's becoming more aware of what already exists. And that is only possible because you can become more aware of who you are. Becoming more aware of who you are is what people call self-improvement. But people use self-improvement more as a physical thing, or more as a, kind of positive thinking, kind of more you should work out, kind of more you should, but no, actually sitting down and becoming more aware of the fact that your consciousness is God, meaning you become more aware of who you really are. That is how you improve yourself. Just by increasing your awareness. As you have matured in life, right? As you become more aware of things, can't your life improve? Don't you, when you drive a car, or when you can cross the street on your own, or when you can count your own change at the store, that is a higher level of awareness than you had when you were 2 years old. That's why you can go to the store for yourself, or you can choose what you eat, because as your consciousness expands, you're able to perform more. But your consciousness can expand, not because it isn't already fully expanded, it's because you become more aware of what exists. When you drive down the street and you see something for the first time, that doesn't mean it just existed right then. That's just the first time you saw it. That's the first time you became aware of it. But that doesn't mean that's when it existed. That's just when it existed to you. That's when it became relevant to you, possible to you, believable to you. But it had to have been before that, because that's the only way you could see it when you drove by. It had to exist. I don't care if it was 5 seconds before you saw it. It was still before you. When you are talking about self-improvement and self-development, what you're really talking about, or should be talking about, what that really means is becoming more aware of who you really are. Becoming more aware of the fact that your consciousness is your creator. It is the base that you are using everything to get an outcome for. It is the base that you're using to think. It is the base that your thought is using to act. It is the base that your action is using to have an outcome that you call reality. But that outcome is attached to consciousness. So then if the outcome is the effect, it's after. Then the cause is consciousness. So what is causing your effect? What is causing the outcome of your life? What is causing what you call reality? Outcome is not reality. Outcome is the reflection of reality. It's the mirror of reality. It's after. Reality is based on the cause. Cause is reality, because cause is causing the thing you call reality. What you're calling reality is just a reflection of it. It's the copy of it. It's the receipt. Cause is the payment. You don't get a receipt before you pay. You don't get an outcome before cause. You don't get an effect before cause. You do not get an action before a thought. You don't get an outcome before an action. You don't get an outcome before consciousness. So consciousness is where you start. In the book, it was called I am. Just the awareness of being. The more aware of being you are, the more you increase your ability to think and what you can think about. The more you increase your ability to think and what you think about, the greater you increase your ability to act. How you act, what you act upon, your actions, your activity. And the greater actions or activities that you can have, the greater outcomes you can have. The more of them, the better of them, the more consistent they become, whatever else it is. It's tied to this order of events, this sequence of events. And they go in this order. Consciousness causes thought. Thoughts cause feelings. Thoughts and feelings are together. They're like right hand, left hand. Your thoughts cause your feelings. Your feelings are about your thoughts. So consciousness causes thought, which results in feeling. Consciousness causes thought. Thoughts cause action. I'm going to get up and go to the store and get something to drink. You thought before you went. No matter how quickly you did it, you still did it in that order. Your consciousness is the base that allows you to think. That allows you to act. Your actions then have an outcome. So in life, we are only looking at our outcome to judge everything, whether we call something good or bad. It's based on the outcome, right? So if it's based on the outcome, then our outcome is based on consciousness. So then when did the good or bad start? Where did it start?
Consciousness?
It starts in consciousness. In the book that people call the Bible, it says, I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. I am the Lord God, and there is no other to save you out of my hand. God in that book named itself I am. I am is first person present tense consciousness. Consciousness is killing and making alive. It is wounding and healing. It is the only creator and cause. So we use consciousness to think, and then we may think a thought that we call bad, like I'm broke. Well, bad then, thoughts create actions. So when you say you want to be radically responsible, you want to take massive action, you have to act, you have to do these things. Yes, you do. But your actions are governed by your thoughts. Your actions are not independent of your thoughts. They're governed by them. Just like your children are not independent in your house, they're governed by you. They may look independent because they're upstairs or because they're eating a sandwich or because they're walking around, but they're governed by you. You are the person in charge. When they get sick at school, who do they call? If they got in trouble, who would they call? When they're not feeling well, who do they call? They call the governor, the authority. Your actions are not independent of your thoughts. They are governed by your thoughts. So if you want to get 12 jobs because you think you're broke, the fact that you think you're broke will keep you that way. Your jobs will not save you because you will not act in a way that's independent of your thought. You may try to and think you are, but you will not. You will not produce that. So yeah, you may produce a little more money, and then guess what? The action is also working. The action is also spending. The action is also losing. The action is also, you are still going to produce an action that is going to reflect your thought. And so the outcome is going to reflect your thought, which was supported by your consciousness. You can't think without consciousness. So you're still going to end up broke with one job or 12 because your thoughts. Now, when you use your consciousness, when you use this water, water is in everything that you're going to drink. Now, when you color it, how can you make iced tea and it tastes like fruit punch?
Can't.
You can't. So then how are you going to have the thought of I'm broke? And then what thought do you think is going with that thought? What action do you think is going to produce wealth with?
Yeah.
With what? With what? If all of us were sitting here and we were with somebody who's old enough, maybe 10 and up, and they gave up and they said, can you go to the store for me and buy me some apple juice? And you just said, for whatever reason, no, I don't have any money. I don't have my purse with me, whatever else it is. And they say, well, I want you to buy it anyway. What would you say? What would you say?
What? With what?
With what? So when you think you're broke, and then you think you're going to go to work so you can get rich, with what? With what? Like, tell me with what? If your thoughts come before your actions, so your actions are only alive because your thought made it alive. Your consciousness makes your thinking apparatus alive. That's why nobody dead is thinking, because they're not conscious. Your consciousness makes your thought alive, brings thought to life. Your thought brings action or act to life. So the only reason this act is alive, or this action or this activity you're attempting to engage in is alive, is because there's a thought that turned it on. If the thought turned it on, whatever that thought is, isn't that what the action is going to reflect? Hello? 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 Isn't that what it's going to reflect?
Yeah.
Does anybody turn the light switch on and the garbage disposal turn on?
You turned the wrong one on.
I mean, and if you do, you have an electrician and you have a problem, right? There's no way this is going to work out. So even if something worked out, it wouldn't be the thing that you intended.
Right.
First, it wouldn't work. And even if it did, it still didn't work.
Right.
Right? So then any act you take is it's only alive. It's only possible because you had a thought. So it is impossible to think incorrectly and get a correct outcome. It's impossible to think bad and get good. It's just not possible. With what? You can only work with what you have. Isn't that why people work for money or work for more money or do this or do that? Because you can only work with what you have. If you don't have what you want or you don't have enough of it, you either go get it or get more. Is that correct? So then consciousness is required for you to think. Thinking is required for you to act. Acting is required for you to have an outcome. So anytime you want to change the outcome, you have to change your what?
Thoughts.
what is producing thought?
Consciousness.
And so your consciousness is who?
You.
So then who is determining the thought that you think?
You are.
When you went to the restaurant, who decided to order orange juice or apple juice for you? Who decided to do that?
I did.
You did, right? So then whatever you're drinking, whatever you're living, who do you think did that?
I did.
So then if there's anything in your life you don't like, who do you think did that?
I did.
Yeah, boy, we want to skip that last part. We want now, and here's where it gets confusing. If you order apple juice from the restaurant and the waiter came with the waiter or the waitress came with the apple juice, they were the ones that you used to get you what you want, but they gave you what you ordered. Do you guys understand that analogy? Do you guys get that? If you order apple juice, if your thought is apple juice, the waiter or the waitress is the action. The action is just the conduit. It's just the thing that you use to get you your order, your outcome. Your thought, right? Your outcome. Your thought is, I want apple juice. I'm going to order. When we're talking about the laws of mind, what is ordering? What is ordering?
Choosing what you want.
Okay. And what do people call that in the world?
Manifesting.
Manifesting or praying, right? You're choosing something. You're ordering. You're ordering from the authority. You're ordering from the waiter or the waitress. But you're ordering what? What are you ordering?
All these bills.
Well, no, but what are you ordering? What are you ordering?
What you're thinking about.
Whatever your choice, whatever it is, right? You're ordering your thought. You're just using them to bring it to you. So when you say I'm broke, guess what? You can use your job to fire you. Won't that get you to broke? You can lose your purse on the subway. Won't that get you messed up or make you at least feel broke? You can get into a car accident and get your car totaled. You walk out unscathed, but now you don't have a car. How are you going to get to work? How am I going to get a new one? Where am I going to get the money? Can't that make you feel broke? It doesn't matter whether it's a waitress or a waiter. It doesn't matter if the manager brought you the drink. Whoever it is going to buy you, is going to bring you what you ordered. You use them to bring you what you ordered. You use life to bring you what you order. But then we blame the waitress. Man, this apple juice, I should have ordered something else. Yeah, you should have ordered something else, but they brought you what you ordered. They brought you what you ordered. Now, I know this isn't a perfect analogy because humans make mistakes, but God doesn't. The law of mind does not make mistakes. It may not have been what you wanted. It may not have been what you liked. It may not have been what you meant, but it's what you ordered. It's what you ordered. So you're using life as a waiter or a waitress to bring you your order, your thought. So then we say, oh, well, so-and-so did this to me. So-and-so did that to me. No, they didn't. You used them to do it to you because that action could have never been done by you or done to you without that thought. And that thought is the thought you think of yourself. It's not what they think of you. It's what you think of yourself. That's why it says in that book, no man comes to me unless my Father in me calls him. No situation or circumstance comes into your life unless my Father, God, I am, unless my awareness in me calls it. It's looking for the physical expression of the thought that's going on in my mind. When you want to order some apple juice and you were sitting at the table and you've been wanting to order it for about 3 or 4 minutes now, what do you start doing?
Drinking it?
Listen to the question I asked you. If you're sitting at a table and you say, okay, I looked at the menu. Oh, you know what? Let me start off with some apple juice. And you're sitting there for 2 or 3 minutes after you decided that. What do you start doing then?
Looking around, wondering.
Looking around. You start looking around. Why? Because you need somebody to bring it to you. Well, guess what? When you decide you want that apple juice in your mind, you know what your consciousness starts doing? Looking around. Let me see what I can get. Oh, I would do anything to miss work today. But let me see what anything is for her. Let me see. You know what? Nah, her bumping her leg, that ain't gonna work. A stomach ache, yeah, that'll do it. It depends on why you're saying that, right? If what you mean by that is if that's a bad feeling for you, then there's going to be a physical thing that reflects that feeling. If it's a good thing for you, it's a beautiful summer day and it's just a this or that, then your mind will say, well, let me see what I can do. And you get the idea, you know what? I have some extra hours that they told me I had to take in the next 2 weeks. Okay, here you go. Or you know what? They told me that there's flooding in the building. They said, don't come in today. It's your thought is now what your consciousness uses to order. So it says, okay, I'm going to go get this outcome, because consciousness is the one that determines outcome. Consciousness uses thought, right, to spring the action for the outcome. Just like you use your wallet to go to the restaurant to order from the waitress or the waiter, and they bring you the stuff. It's a sequence of events. And you don't get to skip them. You can't order from the restaurant and they bring you the apple juice and you're sitting on the couch. You have to go to the restroom. You can't order without talking to somebody. You can't do that. You can't talk to somebody without a thought. You can't do that. There's no way to skip not only what you did, but the order in which you do it. There's no way to get around it. There's no skipping it. There's no loopholes. There's no, I'm going to buy my way out of it. There's no, well, I know somebody who can get me around having to do. There is none of that. The law of mind is no respecter of persons. It doesn't care nothing about what your GPA is, your gender, your color, where you are, if you're poor, if you're broke. It doesn't care. You could be dirt poor. If you decide I am now wealthy, you have now placed an order. And unless you change that order, that waitress, the world is going to come back with that order for you. That is how your consciousness works. It is not a human. Doesn't forget. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't get tired. You sleep. It does not sleep. The body sleeps. That's why you still have dreams, because you ain't sleep. In my best English, you ain't sleep. The self, when we talk about I am, the self, whatever we want to call that being, it never sleeps. Your body needs the rest. It does not. Can you imagine if God was tired? It was like, you know what? I think I need 2 weeks off. I'm going on vacation. Do you know what would happen? Look what's happening when we are awake. We got wars, famine, riots, and everything else. Can you imagine if you prayed and you got an out of office message back? And God just went like this? Yeah. What if you send in a message and you got a message back and God said, you're on your own? What if God, hey God, I need $20. And then God replied, good luck with that. What if you pray, God, I need $20. Hustle harder. What if God told you, I want you to take massive action? What if God said to you all the stupid things you hear or that you say to other people? What if God was as crazy as you? Do you know how messed up we'd all be? If God was as crazy as you, we'd all be messed up. As crazy as me, we'd all be messed up. And all of you would starve because I don't cook. You'd starve first, probably, before anything. You may not go crazy, but you starve. Right? But the whole point, but that is you. That's the point. That God we're talking about is you. Go ahead.
God says I'm praying for you.
Yeah. Good luck. Hey, God, I'm praying to you. And God's like, yeah, I'm praying for you. Good luck with that. Let me know how it goes. Right? Just imagine if that true God said that back, all the stuff we say to ourselves. It's like, no, And so guess what? What if God said, hey, if you said, hey, God, I need to do this. And God's like, well, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And you're like, well, that's why I'm coming to you. And you're like, well, it's like, well, I don't know anybody. All of that conversation really is within you. It's the thing you think you are talking to the real you. It's Natasha talking to I am. It's Alberta talking to I am. It's Alberta talking to consciousness, talking to her consciousness. It's all of us talking to our consciousness. Doesn't matter what you call it, we're all talking to the same thing. But according to what we believe, that God answers back. Well, it's hard out here. God, I'm asking for $20. God's like, man, it's hard out here. It's the same. God is saying the same thing back to you that you're saying. God, you know what? I don't know how I'm going to do it. God, so then you pray and God's like, man, you know what? I don't know how we going to do it. How's that going to work? It's not. Because you're talking to yourself. It's not going to work. So saying all that to say, the one thing we do here every Saturday is understand that consciousness creates reality, because consciousness is the only creator and is the creator of reality. Reality you call your outcome, but that outcome is nothing but a carbon copy of the thing that's going on in your mind. It's nothing but the receipt. Your consciousness is the creator of your reality. Whatever reality you want to experience, you now make that water iced tea, make that water fruit punch, make that water carbonated with some color, and now you have soda. Make that water this or that. How do you think you can get juice out of apples? There's water in it. How do you think you're going to get juice out of oranges? There's water in it. You can't get out something that's not in there. So the base of everything you drink in is water, with whatever added to it. The base of every thought you have is consciousness. The base of every action you perform is thought. The base of every outcome you have is your action. You can go this way or that way, whichever one is good for you. Yes.
I think maybe when I stepped away, George put, I need $20, God. Well, give me a few days. I got to transfer from my savings to my check.
That's it, right? Well, the way the savings and the checkings work, right?
And then Natasha said, wait till I get my taxes. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it.
God.
That's it. My refund's coming back. Yeah. Oh yeah, right? It's right. So that is the one thing we practice. That is the one thing we're talking about here. We're talking about it 1,000 different ways, 1,000 different weeks, but this sequence of events is really the one thing we're talking about. If you can master this, you can have anything. And whether you master it or not, this is how you're getting everything. Most people are unaware of these sequence of events, are unaware how this works. So all they're getting is destruction. Like a baby crossing the street, not realizing you should look both ways. Like a baby putting a knife into a socket. An immature mind is still going to get it's still going to get an outcome. But most of it is disastrous because it's immature. It's unaware. It's ignorant. It's lacking knowledge. That's why the cause of all sin is ignorance. The cause of all error is ignorance. That's what sin means. Error, it means to miss the mark. It's an archery term. It's a Greek term. It means to miss the mark, to miss the target. And what is your target? Your target is whatever you want to be. When you miss that, you are sinning. And okay, yeah. And what does it say? Against thee, God, only have I sinned. Only against your own consciousness, only against your own awareness have you sinned. Why do you think you're so miserable when you're not what you want to be? Why do you think you're miserable and miserable would be around? Because only against yourself are you sinning. Only against yourself are you wrong. Only against thee, God, have I sinned. You can only sin against God, really, truly. Because that starts with you. Consciousness starts with you. Thought starts with you. Action starts with you. Outcome starts with you. Outcome is the echo. It's the boomerang coming back. If you can understand these sequence of events, each thing, consciousness, thought / feeling, action, outcome. If you can understand these sequence of events, then you can consciously create anything. Just like as you mature, you can decide what you eat. You're consciously choosing. Your thought is your choice. Your action goes to work for that choice. And the outcome is a reflection of that choice. And before you make any choice, you have to be conscious. And what you're conscious of, what you call Natasha, what you call Alberta, you're conscious of being that person. That person has a set of thoughts, patterns, and beliefs that make up the mind. Your mind is nothing but the repository for that. It's the housing mechanism. It's where all your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are housed, is your mind. So then when you go to do something, you go to your mind and you take out the action. Yes.
George put in the chat, in the book, The Four Agreements, it says a sin is anything that goes against oneself
Yes.
or what one knows to be right.
Right. Because when you go against yourself, you're going against your consciousness. Right? You're going against your consciousness. You're going against the self, the being of you. You are doing something that does not accurately represent or reflect you.
Hmm.
It's like drinking something you don't want to drink.
Right.
It's like turning down the wrong street. It's a mistake. It's an error. It's something that went against you. It doesn't have to be a crime. It doesn't mean it's not something you can't fix, but it is still wrong. It's still not your desired outcome or intended outcome. Doesn't mean it's a crime. Doesn't mean you have to die. Doesn't mean you have to sweat. Doesn't mean you have to pray and get all crazy. It just means change it. That's what the word repent means. Metanoia. It's a Greek word. It means to radically change your mind. Like when you turn on the wrong street and hit a U-turn. Like when they bring you the wrong food and you send it back. Like it just means to change your mind. It's a radical change of mind. It's saying, oh, I'm no longer going that way. I'm going the other way. I made a mistake. Let me turn around. That's all repent means. It's not moral or ethical. It just means you're going to change the mistake you made. You're going to use that bread and that water and rub it out like an eraser. That's what the first erasers were, like we talked about. Bread and water. Ball it together and rub it out like some dough. So this is what we talk about every Saturday. This is the one thing that changes everything for you. It's the one thing that affects everything. In ignorance, it will destroy you. In knowledge, it will salute you. It will reward you. It will, what does it say? Your gift will set you before kings. This is the one thing that's going to raise your life, is learning how to consciously think, learning how to master this equation like it's a math problem. Consciousness, thought, action, outcome. Your feelings are with your thought. Your feelings happen as a result of your thought. Consciousness gives you the ability to think. You having money allows you to order. Your consciousness is the ability. Now, what your thought is your order. And what you're feeling is based on what you're ordering. Your excitement, like, ooh, I can't wait to have these pancakes. They're attached to the thought. So your thought and feeling are together. Consciousness allows you to think and feel. Your thought and feeling now produces a vehicle called action to get you to the physical outcome of it. And then the action leads you literally to the outcome. So your action is a physical reflection of your consciousness. Humanity is a physical reflection of God. Children are a physical reflection of parents. It's the same. So every Saturday, that's what we come here to do, is to understand this equation. If you can do that, now you can consciously sit back and say, what do I want to order? Yes.
Della has a question.
Yes.
With all the thoughts that we get bombarded with, how can we just hold on to one?
Because with all the things on the menu, you only want to pay for the thing you want to eat. All the other stuff it doesn't mean that you don't like any of the other stuff, but you have so much money, or you have so much time, or you're only so hungry. So in maturity and with ability, you use what you have to order the thing that is most reflective of your desired outcome. How do you want to feel? Full? Do you not want to eat that much because you don't want to be stuffed because you want to eat again later? What kind of food do you want to eat? You want Chinese? Do you want Italian? Do you want soul food? As you mature, you pick the order that most reflects your desired outcome. It doesn't mean there aren't other options, but it means, what do you want the most? Isn't that what you order? What you want? Who goes to the restaurant and be like, you know what do I not feel like eating and paying for? Yeah, let me get 2 of those. I want one now and one to go.
Can you repeat the quote you shared earlier?
Man, you know, I just be talking, so.
It was, you said it was the quote of the day, hold on, it's in the chat.
Oh, quote of the day. Oh, yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
You remember?
It is, your mind doesn't care what you,
That one.
your mind doesn't care what you repeat. I think I said, right? It just masters it. Yeah. What you keep telling yourself over and over, your mind will find a way to make that physical. Your mind doesn't care what you repeat. It just masters it.
I know, Sparkle.
See.
Bailey had put it in the
Yeah.
chat.
Okay. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, the menu analogy, like
Yeah.
when you go to a restaurant, what do you order? That makes a lot of sense.
Yes. And that's why you hold on to it. There's other options. It's not ever denying other options. It's what do you want? What do you want to get? What can you order that justified you coming here? Why order what you don't want? Why make all this choice and all this effort to come to a restaurant and then order and pay and you didn't like it? And you chose, nobody put a gun in your head, nobody made you pick anything, you got to choose. Why wouldn't you order what you wanted? And doesn't mean that you didn't like other things. The next time you come to a restaurant, you may order something else. But this time, right here, right now, I'm ordering this because this is the most accurate reflection of what I want to feel or the reason I came here. This is the most, this outcome reflects my thought. And until I change my thought, there's no other outcome that's going to be most accurately reflective of it. That's the only way you leave the restaurant satisfied. That's the only way you're ever satisfied when you pray, is when you pray for what you want and you get it. That is why it's worth holding what you hold on to, not because it's some kind of punishment. It's because you're choosing the thing that has the most value for you. That's it. That's all you're doing. You're choosing the thing that most reflects your reason for coming here in the first place. This order is an accurate reflection of how you want to feel, the reason you came here. So yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff on the menu, but none of those things are going to do for you today what that's going to do. That's essentially ordering, that's praying. That's it. The waiter and the waitress is your action. It's what action now you take as a result of that order. That action, just like that waiter or waitress, you don't order apple juice and they come back with orange juice and be like, be grateful. So when people talk about this faux gratitude, why should I be grateful for something I got that I didn't want? In the sense of like, I need my rent paid. I don't need no new Jordans right now. Or I want that. I want that. So when they come back with apple juice, you're like, hey man, I appreciate, I know you meant, but I ordered this. I affirm what I ordered. I don't just take what's given to me and I got to pay for it. Well, why would I do? Well, then what's the point of ordering? Why don't you just walk in, sit down, you just give me what you want? What's the point of praying if you're not praying for what you want or you're not getting it? So your actions, when you think about something, your actions are the waiter or the waitress. They are the things that you are using to get you what you want. They're governed by your order. They're not independent of it. So you can't think broke and think you're going to act rich or think you're going to do actions that are going to promote your wealth. They're not, because what do you have to work with? You only have the thought. What does the waiter or the waitress have to work with? Your order. They can't bring you back something you didn't order. You're not going to pay for it. And then they're going to be in trouble and wasting food and everything else. And you're not going to tip them. You're going to be mad. It's not going to work. Right? So your actions are governed by your thoughts. You cannot act independently. I have to say that because a lot of your entrepreneurs, I know a lot of you guys getting a whole bunch of calls and they tell you got to be damn near Rambo to be a millionaire. You got to stay up all night. You got to kill 5 people. You got to be on Instagram all night. You got to, they'll make you think you got to be, you can't ever sleep. You shouldn't even be, you don't even have time to get in the shower. You're not focused enough. You ate today. Well, what is your problem? Like, you don't have to do that. If you order wealth, your actions are the vehicle to get you to what you order. They're the same thing. They're the same thing. Right? You don't have to work hard for money like that. But that's what you order. Hey, can I have that? Can I have that ground beef well done? Can I have that steak well done? Some people order medium rare. Some people get wealthy much easier than others. Some people order wealth well done, as hard as it can possibly be. I'm going to get a couple infections from staying up all night, sinus infections, eye infections, ear infections. I'm going to get as sick as I can, but I'm going to be wealthy. Some people order in hard work. They order in hard luck. They order in hard times and then justifying them. You can order whatever you want. You're God, for Christ's sake. You guys see that one? You guys catch that one? It's pretty good, man. Come on, seriously. That was pretty good. Right? That's who you are. You are the, what they say, the customer's always right. In theory, that's good enough for right now. You're always right. You can order whatever you want. That's the benefit of being a grown-up, an adult. You get to restaurant and order. Your kids ask for pancakes. You're like, nah, you're going to have syrup later on. Or you're going to have ice cream at the birthday party. Nah, I'll get you some eggs and some bacon. They don't get to order what they want. They're not mature. They can't pay for it. Because when they get a stomach ache, who are they calling? Right? So you don't let them just order anything they want. You keep control because you know that you're responsible for the outcome as much or even more than they are. Well, it's the same thing when you're praying, when you are assuming, when you are accepting, you are essentially ordering. And that thing that you are praying, accepting, assuming, oh, shoot, I knew it. Oh, here it comes. Oh, God, when it rains, it pours. Oh, you know, I'm getting older now, so my knee hurt. Okay. But don't be mad at the waiter or the waitress. Don't be mad at the conditions that bring you what you ordered. That's what all this is about. Okay. Anybody have anything to say about that before I move on? Because I took up more time with that than I intended to, but that's important.
I got one more question.
Yes.
It was relating to something you said in an earlier session. What was that analogy that you used? It was the finesser, the farmer, and the what was the last part?
Oh,
The
man.
finesser, the farmer in the field, or was the finesser
Yes.
the
Yes.
field?
Yes.
Okay, all right, there we go. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you.
So the finesser is that part of you that thinks it can. So the finesser is the part of you who tells you can think whatever you want and still get what you like. The finesser is that part of you that says, you know what? I am going to have this orange seed. And as a farmer, I'm going to put this orange seed in the ground. I'm going to take this thought and believe it and think that I'm going to get a watermelon later. No farmer in their right mind would take an orange seed, plant that, and be looking for a watermelon. But in our humanity, because farmers obey the laws of the land. Well, just like that, you have to obey the laws of mind. You are the finesser. You are the person trying to tell you that you can think any way, feel any way, believe any old thing, and still end up with what you want. With what? You got an orange seed. What part of this is going to turn into a watermelon because you're a good person? Because you burned some candles and put on an outfit? Because you're a member of some kind of fraternity or sorority? Because, you know, accept me for who I am.
Hey.
I don't know where they're doing that and who is doing that, but I'm not doing it. If I don't like it, it's nice to meet you. Past tense, not present or progressive or future. It was nice to meet you. Like that? Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, you can do that over there, though. Not. Yeah. Yeah. It was nice to meet you. I don't want that to be present, though. I don't want that to stay here. But that way. No. If you're an orange and I want watermelon, it ain't gonna work. Right? If I'm thinking broke and I want to be wealthy, it's not gonna work. But we finesse ourselves into, oh well, you know, oh well, you know. Okay, well, the farmer doesn't do that. They say, what is this? Orange. But how many watermelons can I get of that? You can't. It doesn't think about it. It doesn't wait to tell you nicely. Farmer's like, you can't. It's not, you can't. You can't think like that and get that. You can't. There's no way for me to say it nicely. There's nothing. It's just the truth. It's a law. Obey the law so that you can have justice, so that you can have peace. No justice, no peace. When you're on the wrong side of the law, there's no justice or peace for you. Right? When John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln, he had no justice or peace. Jumped off the balcony, broke his leg, and was running around, trying to get around forever in pain and on the run. And then eventually ended up dying, obviously. There was no peace. He had no peace, no matter, even if he got away initially. There's no peace. That's the worst thing about a lie, is it'll let you get away initially. It'll give you just enough rope to hang yourself with. Oh yeah, you kill somebody and get away, but you're on the run forever now, and eventually you'll get caught. Because all the resources looking for you are more than what you have to keep yourself free. Because a lie doesn't expand your options, it closes them. It doesn't expand your mind, it closes it. It doesn't grow your faith, it eliminates it. It doesn't grow your ideas, it squashes them. Lies don't expand, they contract. They're like a boa constrictor, and they will suck the life out of you. They will suck your energy, your time, your money, your friendships. Whatever area the lie is represented in will suck the life out of you. It may take a minute, may take an hour, may take a day, but it will get you, because that's what they're designed to do. Like the truth is designed to set you free. The lie is designed for the opposite. It's not personal. It's going to do it to everybody. It's a law. All right. Anybody else before I get going? Okay. What is a lifestyle?
Like how you live your life, the way you live it.
Okay. Anybody else? What is a lifestyle?
I'm gonna say it was a result of your choices.
Okay.
Gavin said the way you live on a daily basis.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It is a style of living. It is the way you live on a daily basis. What we talk about here Saturday is what? Yes, it's a lifestyle. Unfortunately, the way this has been promoted and presented as manifesting, as mindset coaching, as positive thinking, it's presented not as a lifestyle, it's presented as a circus. It's presented as a sermon. It's presented as a seminar. It's presented as the lottery. It's presented as some kind of get out of jail free card. It's presented as something you can do when you want something or when you need something. It's presented almost like that friend you have, right? Like a magician. Yeah, like abracadabra. Your prayers are better, more off. You might as well just say abracadabra. You might as well say, come on, please. You might as well just tell the truth. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, you know what word bothers me probably more than any word that I think is the most misunderstood and misused word of all time in the last, I don't know, in the last maybe, I don't know, 5 years, 2 years, whatever else it is. It's one word. It starts with an A. I think you said, I should say it. I can't hear you.
You said it starts with an A.
Yes.
I was thinking hater, but no.
Always.
Okay. Anybody else? Starts with an A.
Anyways, no.
You guys use this word. I hear this word all the time in business circles. I hear it all the time.
Abundance?
Nope. You think they're talking about that in business circles?
No.
Think about it. It starts with an A, and all these coaching circles, business circles.
Assets.
Affiliate?
Affirmations.
Okay. Let's see. Especially like when you're getting coaching or you need help.
Accountability.
Accountability. That word, curse word sucks. That word is the most, and now let me tell you why I say that. Would you apply that word to anything that you enjoy doing? When you and your homies go to the party or your girls go to the party, does anybody need accountability?
No.
Does that word ever come up? Ever? Is anybody like, come on, girl, let me pump you up. Let me hold your hand when you walk in. Let me hold your hand. Is anybody using the word accountability when they're having a good time? When they're doing what they want to do, does anybody have an accountability problem? I was working with a girls team, and they kept using this word. We need to hold each other accountable. And I stopped and I said, wait. Maybe I haven't been in school in a while. I don't know what this word, maybe this word means something different now. Because there's so many words that have changed that we talk about every week. And it's like, that word means that. Yeah, that's the original definition of the word. What they're talking about now is not it. Yes.
My girl Kalia said, I just came in. Can I find a seat before I get my toes stepped on?
Yeah. Nope. Because when you get here late, all the seats are taken. Now you got to squeeze. right? All the good seats and the comfortable, they're taken. Now you got to sit in the front. Now you got to sit in the front because everybody else sat in the back. All the bad kids get to class early so they can sit in the back. And the good kids get there right on time because they'll sit in the front. The bad kids got to get there early so they can get the seat they want because they don't want to be seen. They can't afford to come in late because all those seats in the back are taken, right? So accountability. I said, wait. Girls, what does that mean? Oh, it just means that we have to hold each other accountable to practice harder. So I said, well, do you guys have to hold each other accountable to dance harder at the party? Do you have to hold each other accountable to dress as nice as you can? Do you have to hold each other accountable to leave on time? So then if at the party, accountability is not mentioned or needed, why is that? Oh, because everybody's having a good time here doing what they want to do. But if accountability is needed here, then are you not having a good time? Is anybody here against their will? Are you being made something you don't want to be? Right? Go ahead.
She just said, no one has to hold me accountable to get my glass of wine at night, not a person.
Right, think about it. So I'm one of the people I'm working with right now is a police officer. And he said something like, oh yeah, man, okay, well, next time we talk, I'm gonna need you to hold me accountable. I said, look, man, why don't you just tell me the truth? Next time you just want me to hold your hand. Do you want our fingers are in a lock? Do you want me to rub your finger? Do you want me to rub your finger while we're doing it? What do you mean? You want me to hold your hand? Did you understand what I said or not? Yeah, I did, but well, then do it. What do you mean? Accountability. What do you mean? What does that mean? Do you want to be what you want to be or not? Yes. Well, this is what it takes to be it. Do you understand that? Yes. Well, what part of this equation requires me to hold accountable for what? To support you being what you said you want to be? Why do I have to support you saying what you wanted to be? You got to pick it. Now, if I said you had to now be in the military, then yeah, I'm gonna probably have to hold you accountable because you don't want to do it. I'm gonna have to wake you up, drive you, drop you off, pick you. Yeah, because you don't want to do that. But we come on all these business calls. Everybody says they want to be an entrepreneur, or they want to be a great mother, or they want to be all this stuff. And then all of a sudden at the end, we need accountability groups. We need accountability sessions. We need accountability for this. But nobody have an accountability thing on a girls' night out, on the way to Vegas, on the way to drink that wine, to smoke that weed, to go ahead and burn that cigarette, to go ahead and do what. Nobody needs accountability then. You don't need nothing. Why is that? So where are we using this term? We're only using it in places and times and things that this is not really what we say it is. It's not really what we want to be. It's what we would maybe like. It's what people tell us we should want, but it ain't really what we want. It's not really what we want to do. So of course you need accountability then. But that's not the definition of accountability. It's to be responsible for what you're responsible for. It's to be able to follow through on what you're supposed to be doing. But that's hard to do when you don't really want to do it. That's hard to do when you really don't like it, when you really don't want to be that. Now you need accountability. And everybody says it so gracefully. And everybody says it like it's like they really doing something. Yeah, I just need you to hold me accountable because I'm trying out here. What? What do you mean? You either want it or you don't. A lot of it is you don't want what you say. That's why you're having such a hard time. Mean what you say. What do you want? Stop saying what everybody else says they want, what you should want, what everybody says you should want, what everybody thinks you should want, what everybody says you are or thinks you are. What do you want? When you find what you want, that wine happens real easy, right? Or that job happens real easy because you will do whatever it takes to have that experience. You don't need no help, no support. Matter of fact, you don't want a whole bunch of people in your business. Not when you're doing what you really want to do. Come on, we were all teenagers dating somebody we shouldn't have. Did we ask our parents for accountability? We were going out there trying to sneak around the corner or whatever, try to sneak on the phone. Hello. No, you go to sleep. You fall asleep first. No, you do it. You fall asleep first. No, come on. Nobody needed accountability. Boy, everybody was active. Right? Everybody was hyped. Nobody needed accountability, right? Nobody needed it because we were doing something that meant that much to us, right? Risking trouble, risking no sleep, risking the last $3 to buy one flower from 7-Eleven to give to the girl, right? Risking whatever it was, because that's how much it meant to us. And what I'm saying is this accountability thing is, for most of us, is because it doesn't mean that much. It doesn't mean really what we say it means. That ain't really what it is. It sounds good. It feels good. Everybody says, oh yeah, we're all on here and we're powerful and we're going to hold each other accountable. No, you're not. You know, it's powerful, the teenager that wants to date and don't care whether you like it or not and trying to figure out how to get on the phone, try to get around the corner, out the window. That person, that is powerful. So find you something that makes you feel like that. You won't need no accountability. Boy, you'll look around, people will look around and can't find you. Wonder where you are, where you went. You at work, or you're at the gym, or you're at whatever it is you're doing that reflects what it is like that for you. Right? Find something that's like that for you. You don't need no accountability then. You don't need no willpower. You don't need no discipline. Joy and love will take you much further. Ever seen a teenager play a video game? Does any accountability in that? Anybody have any discipline? Anybody have any willpower? You ever seen a 4-year-old eat an ice cream cone? Anybody, does it look like they struggling? Does it look like they need somebody to hold their hand? If you touch their hand, they might bite you. Nobody wants your help. That 4-year-old does not want your help with that ice cream cone. Right? Yes.
Della said, what if it's something that you should do, but don't really want to do?
Then that means it's still not what you should do, or you're not thinking about it properly. Some things you should be doing that you don't want to do, but it's because you're not thinking about it properly. Let me give you a prime example. Kids go to school and do what? Not what they should do. What are they doing what are most kids doing when they go to school? What are they doing?
What they're told to do?
Huh?
What they're told to do?
Okay, but what are they doing on their own free will?
Is it playing?
Playing, socializing, playing, messing around. So you should be learning, but you don't feel like doing it. But it's because you're not thinking. You're not thinking properly, meaning this. Well, if you're at school right here, what are you at school to do? What are you at school? Like, what is the point of going to school? To do what?
Learn.
Okay. What is the benefit of learning?
I was gonna say to learn live, Coach Lucky.
Well, that too, but to learn. You ain't got nowhere else to learn it right now unless you're getting homeschooled, right? So if you're at school, most parents aren't teaching their kids anything. They're saying what the teacher tell you, what they say. They're not sitting down with their kids reading. They're not going over their homework. They're not sitting over there saying, what did you learn today? And what happened at school today? As long as there ain't no trouble, they're not asking. So most kids are learning whatever they learn at school, right? So the whole reason you go to school, I'm gonna cut it down. You go to school to learn. You learn what? So that you can get information. The information you're gonna use to be able to live your life on eventually. But if you're using this, the only time you have right now as a kid, all you have to do is go to school. But if you don't learn it then what do? Now you got to learn it later. So then what do you do as a parent or as an adult? Now you got to go to night school. Now you got to figure out how you're going to learn online on Saturday with a job, 2 kids, a mortgage, you're tired, you got a significant other. You are doing the same thing later with no time that you could have done with all the time. You still got to do it. So if you would realize, like, look, it's easier for me to do it now. That's all I got to do. Because whatever I don't learn now, I'm going to have to learn later with less time, more responsibility, less energy, less focus, less of everything. And I still going to have to do it when I could use this whole day to learn whatever I want to learn, whatever else it is. So if I'm thinking properly, I realize, like, yeah, I may not want to learn this right now. I may not want to be at school today, but I definitely don't want to do this later. I don't want to do this after work. Hey, let me cook the kids dinner. Then I'm going to get online and go to night school from 7 to 10. Who wants to do that? When you could have been learning from 8 to 3 for years. Now you want to go learn from 7 to 10? Anybody want to do that online? And you got to pay. When you're a kid, you get to go to school for free. Doesn't even matter whether it's public or private. You're not paying. But now you got to, so you could go all day to school for free, or you can pay to go at night. You're not thinking properly. You don't know how to think. And nobody sat you down and said, okay, cool. You don't want to learn. You don't want to go to school right now. Cool. I get that. But if you don't learn, you don't have the information. If you don't have the information, you don't have the skill or the ability. So you can't get paid. So what are you going to get paid on then? Because even if you use your body, the people who use their mind make the most money. I make the most money. Steph Curry out here in the Bay Area is making 40 million a year. Do you think the owner doesn't have it? Still got to pay all the other players and the coaches and the managers and the trainers and the arena bill. They've got a new center. So if that one person getting 40, how much are they getting? And you playing, they not playing. You got scars, surgeries, you can get traded, waived, cut, fired, and they get to sit right here making 100 times more than you, and none of those things apply to them. They get to go home to their family every night because the mind always makes more than the body. Always. And it always lasts longer because what did we say? Consciousness is first. That's God. Consciousness is first. Without consciousness, you can't think. Without thinking, you can't act. And if you don't act, you don't get an outcome. So the outcome of your life is a direct result of that, of your action, of your thought, and of your consciousness. So what you are conscious of being, your life looks just like it. Take a look around. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look around. At your life, at your body, at your money, at your kids, at your job, at your health, at your mind. Are you sane? Are you insane? Are you stressed? Are you worried? Are you anxious? That could only happen first if you're conscious. Dead people don't have any of these problems. So consciousness is what everything rests on. Now, consciousness, like we talked about, is water. It's the base. Now, what do you want to add to it? Do you want to make this fruit juice? Do you want to make this soda? Do you want to make this tea? But without this water, there ain't none of that cracking. Without consciousness, there is no thinking. Without thinking, there is no action. Without action, there is no outcome. Period. That is the order of creation. Consciousness, I am, period. That's consciousness. I am, period. That is God, period. That is you, present tense, first person. Not your name, the you making you alive, the body that you call a name. Your name is not God. Your name is what God is believing itself to be. It is the person. Latin word, persona, meaning character or the mask that you're wearing. The character and the mask you're wearing is your name. That name is your persona. It's your actions, what you're doing now, what you're believing yourself to be. I am is believing itself to be that name. Your consciousness has now conditioned itself to say, I am Natasha. I am, consciousness is believing itself to be Natasha. And because consciousness is God, that means, and God can do anything, then that means Natasha can do what?
Anything.
Anything. So when you say I can't, you're lying. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you know you're lying. It doesn't mean that you mean to lie, but you are lying. Because I am is God. When you say I am and you attach Natasha to it, you are saying God is believing itself to be Natasha. And if God can do anything as Natasha, then and Natasha was good enough for God to be, then God didn't see Natasha as a limitation. So Natasha seeing herself as a limitation is ignorant, is a lie, is not true. That's why it feels bad when you're limited. That's why it feels bad when you're broke. That's why it feels bad when you're sick. That's why it feels bad when you say you can't, because it's not the truth. It's true, meaning you believe it. It's true, meaning everyone says it. It's true, meaning that is a common fallacy, but it's not the truth. You can do anything because of who you are. And Natasha is not who you are. Alberta is not who you are. It is where who you are is in. It is what who you are is believing itself to be in this play called life. But it's just a character or a mask. Life is just a play that you're acting out according to the script that you're reading. That script is your mind. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your belief is what your consciousness is using to act. So when you say I can't, you're lying. That's not the truth. That doesn't mean you're a liar. It just means you are ignorantly lying. You're just not telling the truth. You don't know better. But the law is no respecter of persons. Your ignorance will cost you, like a baby running out to go get a ball and gets hit. It will cost you. Jumping off the roof when you're 5 thinking you're Superman will cost you. It's not that you're a bad person. It's not moral or ethical. These laws of mine are just like gravity, like every other law that nature made, that God made, nature made. Nature natural, that's you. Anybody run out of sand at the beach? Anybody be like, man, where'd all the stars go? I guess they ran out. I guess maybe there was a sale. Anybody go to the beach and be like, man, there's not enough water out here. Where'd it go? Well, nature is abundant. And that is you. You made nature. So how are you not? How do you have too much sand and not enough money? How do you have too many stars and not enough, and too many stars in the sky and not enough time? How do you have too much water in the ocean and you don't have enough health? How do you run out of the physical thing and you are the maker of the physical? Because you forgot who you are. You started thinking that you're the body you're in and the name you gave it. You ever see somebody, I see it. You ever see someone who like is in a movie? I have a couple of friends I went to high school with that are actors. And sometimes they'll go into character just at a dinner table and just start acting like one of their characters. We'll be like, man, stop. Nobody wants to see all that right now. They start actually taking the character and the mask out of the appropriate area, so to speak. And what I'm saying to you is, in life, you are not your character, your mask. You are just the character that's getting to play this life. You need a body, and your body has a name, but that's not who you are. That's where you are. That's the who of you is in this thing. That's not who you are. Don't act like that. You are who you are acting through that. But when you start to get amnesia or become bipolar or schizophrenic, when you start to assume an alternate identity, you slip. When you start thinking you're human, you slip. That's not really who you are. The body you have is, the name you've given it is, yes. But that's not you. That's why you call it your arm. It's possession. Your hair is possession. It's not you. It's yours. It's something you possess. The you is in control of all of it. Right? Yes, question. Yes.
Coach Lucky, this actually isn't even a question. This is a testimony.
Okay.
Because Vito had invited me, and before I could join, I was on a financial call. And after I hung up with that financial call, my spirit was kind of disturbed. And God had already said, you know, because I just recently lost my job after 23 years at the end of 2023. And so I am fully trusting God, and I have faith that we will. This is our brand, this is our business. And at the end of that call, my spirit was really disturbed because I don't know, the enemy was just messing with me. And I went on my patio, and I remember like Vito invited me on a call and said that you're going to be on there at 12 o'clock till 12 a.m., 12. And when I got on immediately, you were stepping on my toes. And you just reminded me, I am. And even to the question that someone asked of what happens when you don't want to do something and you have to do it anyway. And the shift that you just gave me of just do it. You got to do it. So I have the pleasure of building a multi-million-dollar brand. I have the pleasure of doing all the small work of getting that business taken care of. I have the pleasure of achieving every goal that I've set out to achieve and do the work in getting it done, no matter how difficult it may seem. I am strong enough to handle that. Coach Lucky, you have just, I thank God for you. I thank God for this moment. I thank God for my obedience for joining it, because I will say this call was also part of the history that made the Bell brand the multi-million-dollar brand that it will be. And so thank you for that, Coach Lucky.
Thank you. That's awesome. Good for you. And so I'm going to take something you said, because a lot of times we have problems and we don't know why or what it is. So let me give you an example just off of what you said. Why do we have a why do we have, when we say so when we say when we order apple juice, when we have a thought, we order apple juice. I want to be a millionaire. Okay, that's like ordering apple juice. The waiter, right, will bring you what you ordered. Now, does anybody go back there? I'm ordering apple juice. Does anybody get up with the waiter and go back there with him? Anybody follow the waiter in the back? Let me go see what you got. Is that Mott's or is that Martinelli's? What you got back there? Hey, what you doing back there? Hey, what do you got? Nobody's back there with them, right? You can't see them. When you say, I want to be a millionaire, from where you are, you can't see it, but you ordered it. Why is it that we trust the waiter to bring back apple juice, what we ordered, but we don't trust ourselves or our prayer to bring us back what we just asked for? Why is that? Because that's true, but why is it true? What makes that? Why is that true? I mean, look at it. Let me give you a quick visual so that we understand it's the same thing. We're doing the same thing over here, right? We have two sides. We have your desire, right? And we have over here apple juice. Okay. Now you have a waiter that you place your order with, a waiter or a waitress that you place your order with. You have a desire that you place in your consciousness by saying, I am whatever this desire is. That's your order. When you place the order with either one of these, you can't see it. You can't see it from where you are, as far as you can't see it. You can't see what they're doing when you place this order. You can't see the background. But when you place this order with this person and you're at the table, how do you feel? After you place your order, how do you feel?
Excited.
Okay, excited, confident, sure.
I was gonna even say neutral.
Oh, and even neutral. You're just
Yeah,
like,
I
it's
don't even
done.
think about it.
Yeah, I don't even think about it. It's done. It's neutral. It's done. Okay. Well, what happens when you place your order over here?
Oh, man.
Let's put the words up. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth. What are the words? Let's get them out. What are they? Lost,
Anxious, worry,
worry,
uncertain,
uncertain. Okay.
doubtful,
Doubtful,
fearful.
Okay. Unsure. Okay. Now watch this. So can we agree? Is it honest? Can we agree that so far these processes are the same? So far, right? Okay. So then why are the words, why is our experience down here different? All these three up top are equal. They're the same. So then what change? Something makes this different than that. What is that?
Not knowing who we are.
That's actually exactly right. That's actually exactly right. Because we don't, okay, let's put it another way. How many strangers do you trust?
None.
So then if you don't know who you are, then who are you to you?
Ooh, stranger.
A stranger. Stranger danger. Yeah. I wouldn't trust me either. I don't know me. I don't know me. Most of us don't know ourselves. Why? Because we do everything out. We're on the phone. We're talking to everybody. We're at work. We're on the freeway. We're on social media. We're watching TV. We're at the movies. We're with our kids. We're with our spouses. We're with this. Everything is out. You tell somebody to meditate, and now all of a sudden that's religious. Now all of a sudden they ain't got time for that. But it's not to meditate to make it religious. It's not to sit up there like a monk, like you don't have a life or a world. It's to get to know you. Why do you think you have all these things? Because you're a stranger. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what you're talking to. You don't know if it's listening. You don't know if it's you. You don't know if it heard you. You don't know if it cares. You don't know anything because you don't know you. That's the only thing that makes this different. You don't even know the waitress or the waiter that put your juice, bringing your juice. You don't know if they remembered, if they're going to forget. You don't know if they spit in it. You don't know anything. But you are assuming that they're going to do for you. But you are assuming with somebody you don't know, and you won't even assume with the you that you do know. The only thing that changes these two words at the bottom is assumption. An assumption, right, which is what is the definition of an assumption?
Taking an ass of you and me.
No, man.
To assume means to hold on to something that is not true until you see it, something like that. It's written on my back.
An assumption is a belief without proof.
Okay.
When you get your new job and they say you don't get paid for the first 2 weeks or a month for your first check, don't you go to work every day still? How do you know they're gonna pay you? Based on what? How do you know? They can't go out of business? They can't go bankrupt? How do you know you're gonna get paid? Yes, quiet, you don't. But you assume so thoroughly, you're so convinced that your assumption is like knowledge to you. You can't prove it, but you absolutely believe it. There's nothing in you that tells you it's not true. So but the only reason you can do that is because it's habit. You're used to that. You're used to working 2 weeks before you get paid. You're used to doing this or that, right? So it's not that it's that you have any more proof, that there's any more reality. This is not spirituality. This is not religious, but you do it every 2 weeks or every new job you get. You assume that something is going to happen for you, that they're going to pay you, but you have no proof. But you don't call that religious or spiritual or deep. You don't pray. You just work. You just do what you're supposed to do. Over here, you could do the same thing, but the problem is you don't know you. The problem is you don't spend enough time with yourself. The problem is you don't talk to yourself or talk to yourself properly. The only time you talk to yourself is when you say, oh, hell. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord, help me. Oh, we're going to try. God doesn't try. God does. Humans try. God said, let there be light, and there was. It wasn't like, hey, if somebody can give me a little amen, can I get a little light? Can I get a light bulb? There was nobody else to ask.
Della said there's going to be honey at the store.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Right? Meaning, like, whatever you say is what it is. You're always right. Even when you're wrong, you're right. Meaning you get the outcome of what you say, of what you are thinking and feeling to be true because of who you are. When God said, let there be light, there wasn't no dark or no dusk or no dawn. It was light. There wasn't no hoping with it. I'm going to try and see what I can do. Let me see if I can put in a call. Let me see if I can get a loan. Let me see. That's not, humans do that. Humans try because they're using their human mind to figure out something they don't know. But if they would use their higher mind and say, this is what I want. Here's my order, and I'm going to sit back here excited, confident, sure, and everything else. Now, when people say you got to take massive action, you placed your order. Okay, what are you doing now? You prayed. Okay, you placed your order with the waiter or the waitress. What did you do after that?
Went about my business.
Okay, so then where's all this action that everybody's talking about? Where is that?
Yeah.
What if you could have got the apple juice yourself, you would have went and got it. You probably would have got it faster than waiting on them, right? If you could have done what you were praying about, you wouldn't have prayed. So if you prayed, that means you did the only part of the equation that was necessary. If you ordered, you did the only part of the equation that was necessary. There is nothing else you could do. There's nothing else you can do.
The how is not my job.
Are you the waiter?
No.
Are you the waitress? Go back there if you want to and see if you don't come out in handcuffs with no apple juice. You get beat up by the whole restaurant going back there. Now everybody mad at you and you still thirsty. Right? You did the part of the equation that you're responsible for. You're not supposed to be in the back. You're in the back. That's why you're lost. That's why you're worried. That's why you're uncertain. All these things is because you're in the wrong place mentally. You're in the kitchen with no badge, no ID, no employment, and you're going to get beat up, arrested, thrown out, and you may not ever be able to come back. That's why you're in the wrong place mentally. You place your order with the waitress. That is, I'm placing my order with my consciousness, with myself. I'm saying, okay, I am broke. Okay, I don't like that. Now let me place my order. When I got to the restaurant, I was hungry. I am hungry. That's not a crime. I just got to change it. I'm hungry. I am broke. I am hungry. I placed my order. I am broke. I placed my order. I am now wealthy. And I'm going to sit here until whatever part of the equation needs to be satisfied by me comes to me. And my higher self will let me know what that is. If I could just go out and do something, I wouldn't have prayed, or I would have already done it, or I already have. Either way it goes, it wasn't enough. So I'm at my limit. That's what the prayer is at. I'm at my limit. That's why I got to order. And the waiter or the waitress will bring you back what you ordered. In the craziness of humanity, they bring you back what you ordered. What do you think your consciousness is going to bring you back? What does it say? If you ask me for a fish, will I give you a bread? Will I give you a stone? If you ask me for bread, will I give you a stone? No. If you ask for apple juice, are they going to bring you back orange juice? Not if they're sane or paying attention. And if they did, would you accept it? Would you just be grateful? Who would sit there and practice gratitude? Who's going to do that? Come on, man. You asked for some apple juice and they gave you some champagne. Who's going at 8 in the morning? Who's going to practice gratitude?
I might.
Right? Right? It's just saying that the whole point, right, is that when you go to your consciousness for something, it's like going to the waiter or the waitress. You're saying, look, I've looked at the menu. This is what I want now. It doesn't matter that I'm hungry. Yeah, the hunger just brought me to order. The hunger is not a reflection of me having to starve. Poverty just got me to change my mind and play something different. It's not a reflection of my condemnation of having to be here forever. You don't have to stay as you are with your money any more than you do with being hungry. But you do have to order. And you do have to be willing to order something different. You know, I've been starving for a long time. I don't know if I can order some food. What? I've been broke for a long time. I don't know if I can have some money. Well, then guess what? You won't. Just like you won't eat if you don't order that food. And if you use the justification of I've been hungry for a long time, so I don't know if I can order, then guess what? If that's what you want to do to justify starving, go ahead. If you've never had a business that was multi-million-dollar, just because you never had one doesn't mean makes you think you can't ever have one, then go right on ahead. You won't, don't worry about it. You'll be right where you are. But if you said, shoot, this situation came up for me to place a different order, I'm hungry now, then guess what? I'm a millionaire now. I got a multi-million-dollar business and it's effortless and easy. People are always looking for my stuff. I can't even keep it on the shelf or I can't keep all these appointments straight. I got so many. Now I got to hire somebody to help me. I didn't even want to hire nobody, but I need some help because I got too many people. Everybody's looking for me. I can't even go anywhere and they're not looking for me. I see got people stopping me on the street, people stopping me in the store looking for me. It's what you have and how you have it. You are successful easily. There ain't no honor in being successful hard. There ain't no honor in getting high blood pressure, kidney stones, stress, and everything else just to have a successful business. That's not what you need. Now, if you want to work 90 hours a week because that's what you enjoy, cool. Do it for the workout, not the work. Do it because you enjoy it, not because you need to do that. God don't need to do that. Your consciousness doesn't need to do that, but your consciousness is going to work your butt if you don't work it. It'll use your behind or your mind. You can pick. Most people are using their behind, and that's why their behind is flat like a sidewalk. They didn't ground it all the way down. It's a wrap. Can't even remember when they had one. No cakes at all. They've been robbed. I don't know how many people are interested in that, but I'm just saying. Right? Come on, man. This is what it is. You can either use your mind to create or use your mind to destroy, but make no doubt about it. Be unequivocally clear. You are using your mind to do one or the other. You are believing yourself to be a failure or a winner. You are using your mind no matter what. There is no option. You don't get to just say, well, I'm neutral. It don't work like that. Gravity ain't neutral. Electricity ain't neutral. The tide in the ocean ain't neutral. Sunlight ain't neutral. Moonlight ain't neutral. Stars in the sky aren't shining neutrally. There is no neutrality in the laws of the universe. Everything is working. Everybody got a job. So do you. This is a lifestyle. This is not something that you just use to get out of. This is not 7-Eleven trying to hit the lotto. This is a lifestyle. This is a way of living, a way of thinking every day about everything. About your health, about your money, about your relationships, about how much free time you have, about how easy your life could be, about your friendships, this is a way of life. You have a consciousness, and your consciousness has a thought about every area of life. And whatever that thought is, take a look at your life. That's what your friendships look like. That's what your money looks like. That's what your health looks like. That's how hard your life is or isn't. How hard it is to be a millionaire with $1 million company, a multi-million-dollar company, or not. How long does it take? 6 years because the average business doesn't make money. If you want to do that, do that. But just say you did that. Just say I decided to struggle for 3 or 4 years because that's what everybody else is doing. Just tell the truth. Just tell me you want me to hold your hand instead of just saying, let's be accountable. Just tell me the truth. Don't hit me, miss me with the cap. Miss me with the sombrero. I don't want that. That thing is too big to be dancing around your stuff. Okay? No. You can be whatever you want. And the problem is you are. For most of us, the problem is you are. You are what you want. You just didn't mean it. You ever seen a kid trying to learn how to ride a bike? They failed. Didn't mean it, but they didn't know how to ride, and so they failed. If you don't know how to think, you're going to fall. You're going to suffer. That's what we're here every week talking about, is learning how to think, being aware that you're always thinking. You are always thinking. So what you're thinking about is what you're getting. What you're thinking about is determining your action. And your actions are determining your outcome. Your consciousness is the creator of your outcome, and there is no other creator. There's too many gods in the world. Your job, the economy, the weather, the bus driver, your kids, the doctor, your medicine. There's only one God. There's only one creator of everything that you like and don't like. How it's going and how it's not going. What it is and what it ain't is your consciousness. And whatever you are conditioning it to be, it's water. And whatever you put in it, it's water by itself or water plus this. Your consciousness plus that equals that. It's just what you drinking. There is no, if you have water and you pour some iced tea in there, you have iced tea, right? You don't have orange juice. You don't have apple juice. You don't have Sprite. Okay. Your consciousness plus your thought equals your drink. That's what you drinking. That's what you drinking. There's no outcome. There's no other person to give it to you. That is what it is. Your thought plus your consciousness plus your thought equals what you drink. What you drink is your life. What you're thinking is your choice. And your consciousness is the creator of your choice. Okay. Be very clear on that. Very clear on that. This is the only equation. This is all you have to. If you can master this, you can have anything you want. But your lack of mastery is giving you everything you don't want. So you can master it to win, or you can keep a lack of mastery and keep losing. But this is what's happening to you. You have a consciousness that has thoughts and feelings, it creates the actions to bring it to life called outcome. Now, if you do that on purpose, you can do it for you. You learn how to make electricity work. Guess what? We lit up the world. We lighten up the world. We've lit up the world. We're lighting the world. A 3-year-old with a fork is getting lit up. Gravity's does no, if you don't know how to work with it, it's going to seem like it's working against you. If you don't know how to use the laws of mind, you are using them against yourself.
Stella put in the chat, I've been getting the order of operations incorrect for the majority of my life, which is what I put the consciousness, thoughts, feelings, action, and outcome, and really like all of us have.
Yeah, all of us have. And that's the last thing I want to say. And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad, thank you for telling me, because I didn't, wasn't looking at it from here. All of us have, this is a lifestyle. All of us have come here because we're hungry. All of us have come here because everything else we've done ain't worked so far or worked so well or is not working at all. You don't have to be a good person to come here. You don't have to come here because you've been so successful that you don't know what to do. You're not a crook or a robber. You're not a bad person. You're not just suffering or settling because you're here now. It's not bad because you're here now. Thank God you're here now. Thank yourself for bringing you here, because there's something in you that says, I want more. I want better. I can be this. And so then yourself, that's an order. And your waiter, your consciousness, your waitress went and found somewhere to help you that says, okay, here's better. Here's more information. Here's what you can use. Because the tools that you're given here are for you to use the way you want. I don't care what you are. Like I said, I don't care what you want to be. I just want you to be it. I just want you to have it. So I'm giving you the tools for you to actually choose consciously what you want to order. You raise a young person to be able to do for themselves what you are doing for them at that moment. You are being raised in mind for you to be self-sufficient, for you to realize you don't need anyone else to do anything, that you have within you everything it takes, and your higher mind will find whatever physical resources necessary to bring that to your physical world. It may not be the people you think. It may not be the job you thought. It may not be the friend you thought. But it will be whatever is necessary to bring what you thought. All right. It's at the end. So I'll stop running my mouth now and does anybody have any questions, anything they want to say before I let you go on this wonderful Saturday?
You're amazing. Coach Lucky, Cassidy said you're amazing. And Gavin, when you said earlier you affirmed one of his answers, he opened up the balcony door and the wind started blowing and he was just like, I'm the man, yeah. I'm the man. Like,
Titanic.
it was adorable. It was adorable.
Yes.
We love you. We appreciate you, Vero, every single week. Even when I'm away, the kids are still like, you got to get up for Coach Lucky's call. You got to get up for Coach Lucky's call. Thank you for just being consistent. Thank you for being impactful. Oh my goodness. You know, I could go on and on. Like you are the ish. And you remind us every week that we are the ish.
Yes.
I'm not better than y'all. We are all gods here. And so there's no need for division. There's no need for confusion. Just focus on your mindset. And that's the takeaway every single week. So we continue to come back because like, this is the best medicine ever. Just thank you so much. We over here talking about what you're discussing and we're holding ourselves to that standard. And we just appreciate the reminders every week. Thank you so much. Vero, thank you, Goddess. Every time. Thank you. You come through. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you and the family. Thank you.
Coach, I just wanted to share a quick testimony. Since our conversation, I started saying, how come I'm more than enough? Like,
There you go.
I'm more than enough. In every area of my life, I want you to know that I love my day job at the daycare. My work hours have doubled. I'm talking about from 15 hours to 35, 40 hours, just that quick. I absolutely love what I do. So thank you for those ask-formations. Thank you very
There you
much.
go. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Good for you. Good. I'm telling you, if you guys will just think what you want to think and not let anybody take it from you, like the honey at the grocery store. If you take that honey off the shelf and somebody try to take it from you, you know it's Tom and Jerry up in there. You up there wrestling, going off the top rope of the shelf like it's WWF. If you would just hold on to that thought of being whatever you want in your mind and you don't let anything take you from you, talk you out of it, whittle it down, negotiate it, dilute it. This is what I said I am, and I will say that until it comes or I die. But I'm gonna get rich or die trying up in here. It's 50 Cent.
Natasha said, I needed this. Thanks, coach, for bringing the truth.
Right? Thank you. Thank you all for coming every week. It's my honor and pleasure that you let me run my mouth and ramble and things like that. And I'm up here sweating at 9 in the morning in California, inside, right? But I get so excited and enthusiastic about what it takes for us to live the life we want to live. It's not just hard work. It's not just grinding. It's not all that other stuff. You are greater and bigger and better. And gods don't have to grind. Humans do, because God knows how to think. That's why God doesn't have problems, because there's no problems that God can't solve. There's no problems in your life that your consciousness can't solve if you are willing to assume the answer of it solved. What is it? High blood pressure, assume perfect health. No money, assume more money than you can. If you're willing to assume the opposite and keep that assumption and you walk in that assumption, no matter what you see, you don't change your mind, you will see it. You will see it in any area that you're willing to hold it. You can buy anything that you're willing to hold, right? Until it's over, right? Yes. Anyone else?
Coach Lucky, you just said something real quick. I want to tell all the delicate flowers that's listening. Did y'all hear what he just said? Gods don't grind. Please remember that. If you are a delicate flower and you hear my voice, remember that goddesses do not grind. We don't do that. We are allergic to grinding. We're not built to do that. So that's where all your stress is coming from. And the more y'all see me disappear, or why is Sparkle Bailey not being consistent, or why is she? Because she's not grinding. She's pouring into herself. She's showing up for herself. And I just need to continue to remind y'all of that example, because the world wants us to grind ourselves into the grave. And I'm not doing that.
And none of us have to. That's why we're all here. It's to let you know you don't have to do that. What does it say? Be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be not conformed to this world. If you think like everybody else, you're going to get like everybody else. You're going to be on the same high blood pressure, same diabetes, same diabetes. Your pressure going to be high, right? Come on, we've all heard it, right? From our uncles and grandmas and people around us, we've all heard it, right? Oh, my leg is getting it. Oh, when you get older, you can't see and all the other stuff. If you think like everybody else think, you're going to get like they get. You're going to end up like they end up. Don't think like somebody you don't want to look like or be like or end up like, right? If they talking and you don't like it, don't think it. And don't follow them. Don't listen, right? Okay. Sorry. Anybody else?
Can I just say this has been truly, 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 truly enlightening. And it just, it's been amazing. And I had just started to say, I don't want to grind. I did it for my entire life. And I had just been saying it for the last couple of months. I'm not grinding anymore. I don't want to grind to become wealthy. So
When you get better at anything, what does it get?
easier.
So then what is the benefit of grinding? That means you suck. That means you're not good at it. You know what grinding looks like? 5-year-olds playing basketball. And they out there, that's what grinding looks like, right? If you ask somebody for a ride and they say, yeah, girl, but my brakes are grinding on me a little bit, you'd be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna take the bus or I'm gonna call another ride because this may not work out. When you get better at anything, it's easy. That's the whole point of this call every Saturday is to raise your mind so that you perform at a level where it's easy, where your yoke is easy and your burden is light. Grinding, that's for bad breaks. That's for people who can't think straight. But when you get better at anything, it gets easier. Your life is supposed to be easy because you are the creator of life. How is something you created gonna mess you up? Remember when Jesus was in that boat and then winds and waves came and everybody said they're gonna die, and Jesus got up and said, stop it, knock it off, peace, be still. How's something gonna kill me that I made? How's that work? Absolutely not. No. How's this world you made and all the things that you made in it going to do something to you? Only if you don't know who you are, only if you forgot, only if you think you're the name with the body. That's not you. That's where you are. It's what you're in. So no, I don't grind. Everything is for me is easy. Everything I set my hand to prospers. What does it say? Above all things, I wish you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. How are you prospering and grinding at the same time? Which one is it? If somebody's brakes are grinding in their car, does that sound prosperous to anybody? Does it feel prosperous to anybody? Johnny, if your brakes are grinding, is it prosperous?
Not at all.
Not at all. Right? And congratulations on your house already. Congratulations. That's it. All right. Anybody else have anything to say before I let you go? Because it'll be Sunday if I don't let you go. You running my mouth.
Thank you everyone for coming. See you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Peace.